Hello and welcome to, of course, a very special edition of the Nasty Metal Podcast. And the reason this is so special is because I'm not going to be talking about traditional topics of what is in the metal world or what albums are coming out. No. Instead, this is me talking, it's a very special Halloween themed one where mostly the topics is of Halloween in general, and at least my memories and I mean also fond memories of at least of Halloween and the days that at least the years that I spent doing and at least participating, and just some of my favorite memories of who I either dressed up as or what I did and the attention and so on, and just again all the excitement and the joy that I got from it. And there will at least be one photo, at least that you will see in this video, or at least on here, because it's in many ways for podcasts normally that they're more so audio, but this is audio. But it's mostly made to at least for anyone to at least listen to. But in this one, you are going to at least some graphics on here. So it's definitely just me, again, just talking about some of my fond memories of participating on the holiday that is Halloween. But besides that, again, this is also very much titled episode number 9.1, because in many ways it's really not really a traditional episode. It's definitely not really, in my opinion, an official episode number 10. At this point this is my 10th podcast, but the thing is this is more so of an extension from episode number 9 than really a proper episode number 10, which will be sometime later in November. So again, that's all it is. That's a way that it is. However, before I really get into that, I do I lap on my last on the episode number 9. I know I'm fumbling a little bit there. On episode number 9, I did at least say that I wasn't going to do any Q&A stuff for this special episode. However, again, Stormrider, he, of course, at least sent me a question. So in the beginning of this, I'm going to make it that at the beginning of here right now, the first topic is, of course, is a Q&A. And then so I can at least get this out of the way before then, for the remainder will just be my fond memories of me participating on Halloween. So without further ado, let's get into, of course, the Q&A portion for this special Halloween edition of the Nasty Metal Podcast. So let's definitely get into, of course, the question, which, again, it was, of course, was sent to me via my Gmail account, which, again, I leave my Gmail account link, of course, in the description box. And it's used for those who want to send in questions for me to answer on podcast episodes. So definitely, it's very much made at least apparent. That's the link you should be using for at least. Even though I still point out that you can at least you still have the option for also leaving your questions in the comments section, but it is at least a better idea to send me questions via my email account, at least through Gmail. So there. So this was sent to me, of course, from Stormrider via my Gmail account. So here it is. Hi there. I have a question for the Q&A. What are the channels you are self-following / subscribe to, and you would recommend to us, or what would you recommend to us and why? And can you review on the new Hex album, Entangled in Sin? Thanks, and till next time. Well, to answer the second question, before I get into the question about which channels I'm subscribed to and which ones I can recommend to any of you, before I get to that question, I'm going to answer the second question, which was you basically asking me about reviewing the new Hex album, Entangled in Sin. Well, you are in good care right now. I got good news for you. There is going to be a review for, of course, Entangled in Sin, and that will be out this Friday. So, again, the October 30. you will see a review for that album. Of course, I did at least mention that on my past, on episode number 9 of the Nasty Metal Podcast. I did say that I was going to be reviewing Entangled in Sin from Hex. But since, of course, you asked again, maybe again, you might have not heard that part, or I wasn't completely quite, I don't know, clear with that. It's the best way to kind of put it. Yes. I am, of course, reviewing Entangled in Sin. Again, that review will be out Friday. Of course, Wednesday's review is going to be the debut album for the band, or the Brazilian metal band, Hellgun. But, again, that's Wednesday. Still, though, yes, at least scheduled announcements. All right, so there. That is so. Yes, I answered your second question. I am reviewing Entangled in Sin from Hex. It was planned to begin with, but since you, of course, were asking, I will definitely mention your name in that review when it comes out. So there you go. Thanks for, of course, asking. Now, to finally answer the first portion of your question, which, of course, is on the question of what channels I'm subscribed to, and if so, are those channels worth recommending? Are they, can I recommend those channels? And what are the reasons why I would recommend those channels? Well, to answer that, I'm subscribed to plenty of channels for all plenty of various different reasons. For one, of course, so when it comes to the vinyl community, or short for VC, I'm of course subscribed to Scott Waters. And again, at this point, everybody, at least I think you as well, I think are probably subscribed to anyways. I mean, probably at this point, still one of the most popular VC channels in YouTube. And again, I also enjoy his stuff. Again, he runs his own label at this point. He does work for Rox Records. Of course, he also fronted Ultimatum, and also Once Dead. I mean, he's done every bit of that. I've gotten packages from him before. So for sure, he's all well-rounded and in all kinds of music to begin with, though mostly the rock and metal. But he does have some other different, various different genres that he also likes as well, that he's at least fond of. So I would say he does have a pretty good taste, or a well-versed taste, though not as well-versed, let's say, for another one I am subscribed to, which is Metal Theologian, who I also really fucking like. And one of the main reasons is, even if he's talking about jazz, or he's talking about or even funk at times, especially, of course, he is, of course, railroaded within the hard rock and metal stuff at times as well, and of course, even the more abstract stuff as well. One of the many reasons, if he's talking about that, I always really like it when he really throws his honest opinions about. And me, and personally, I always look at myself as a very honest, opinionated guy. But the thing is, between me and him, his honest opinions doesn't always seem to get him a bunch of, I mean, at least I'll say, criticized. He doesn't get completely criticized for it. Even though some will disagree, he doesn't get vehemently, criticized as I do. As do I. I get absolutely criticized no matter what. Probably because since I do reviews, many people want to come into this fucking channel and expect me to at least say the same thing that they might be thinking, or so on. I mean, it's either whether I like it or I don't like it. If it's something I don't like and I somehow like it, I get fucking criticized. Or if it's an album that I like and they don't like, I will get fucking criticized for it. Or if there's a little bit, if I'm, and the thing is to also answer the question of, is it really a big deal if you don't research to begin with and you just go on and say it and be honest? The difference between Metal Theologian coming up front about facts that aren't completely true, and he just comes out and he says he's honest about not searching up stuff, I don't think it does him that much damage than it does me. Because again, I do fucking reviews. And again, people will expect at least reviews to be a little more factual, and people do research. I've gotten that once again. I even gotten that on my fucking review for, of course, the Blue Oyster Cult album, The Symbol Remains. Yes. I think it does more hurt to me than it actually will do for Metal Theologian. So yes, for him, I don't think that it's not a problem for, of course, just coming out and being honest on not searching up stuff. But when it's someone like me who's at least doing reviews, it actually kind of does. Because now all of a sudden it makes it seem like that now I'm a fucking idiot on YouTube, basically. And since, of course, I like to at least be able to at least put up good reviews in many ways. If I get something wrong, it's like, oh, knock, that guy's an idiot. It's actually more annoying on my part than it is on his part. But again, I see where it comes from. I can be the same thing. So again, if you like at least somebody who's absolutely honest and you have no problem being offended by their honesty, he's a great fucking channel to look into. And again, I enjoy his fucking honesty because again, I like somebody on YouTube that's actually fucking honest. It's better to be honest than to be a goddamn liar, which I see a lot of YouTubers these days being absolute god-awful liars. And it becomes an infection on in the world of YouTube and social media. I see nothing but a bunch of god-awful liars to begin with. And the thing is, some of these god-awful liars actually have at least tons of subscribers and seem to get in a lot of ad revenue. I don't live off of monetization to tell you, to be honest. I don't live off of monetization. I don't. It's a fucking hobby to me. YouTube, I always looked as a hobby. But these god-awful liars that just seem to completely infect YouTube and seem to leech off of it are at least monetized or making money off of it. And the thing is, it seems to do them no issue. They have no issue with it, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous. But it's why I don't pay attention to a lot of them. Because again, especially if you're looking on whether it be, apparently it's also on the vinyl community side, and it's also even on the video game side, it's on the music side, it's on every genre, at least when it comes to anything. There's at least gonna be god-awful liars who are just freaking leeching off of YouTube for just money and viewership, so they can at least be something, so they can go on and have a career, and then live like they are a goddamn king on their fucking throne. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I'm fine where I'm at, and yes, sometimes I get facts wrong, but again, I am only human. Those motherfuckers, on the other hand, are absolutely don't care if they are even human to begin with. So yes, this was probably a little bit of a little bitter opinion here, but it's, again, I'm being truly honest. And if you want another honesty YouTuber as well, when it comes besides music, I'm also subscribed to, of course, Heavy Metal Gamer, or the Heavy Metal Gamer Show, who, again, I am buddies with online anyways. I've known that guy since, of course, the Forces of Steel channel forum. I've known him through there. Again, I'm friends with him on Facebook. I've also been on his live streams as well. Also, of course, Metal Theologians live streams. Those are two guys whose live streams I will not miss. I try not to miss, and I will at least be on there and interact. Because again, the one thing with, of course, Heavy Metal Gamer Show, he is an absolute honest person. He says it right straight from the hip. He shoots straight from the hip. And again, what comes from it is, again, it's his honest opinion. And I love that. But just like me, he will also get shit for it when it comes to, of course, on stuff on video games. Again, it's kind of a video game channel, but he does have, of course, a metal series, which is basically Metal World Order, which you will discuss music or metal or hard rock related topics on that series. And again, I love his tastes. Again, we would both, in some way, shape, or form, somewhat share the same taste in music to begin with. But again, I like his honesty. I like that, again, he's also, at times, he doesn't have no problem even, again, throwing a lot of humor in. And his humor is, again, can be seen as offensive to those, but that's why I like him. I like it that he isn't, sugarcoating a lot of his jokes. He isn't trying to almost worry about, oh my God, is this joke gonna hurt this guy's feeling? Is it gonna make him feel bad? Oh my God. No, I like the fact that he just says it and doesn't give a shit. And if someone does get him, he at least will at least confront that and isn't going to at least ignore one another. And he definitely doesn't ignore his viewers. He loves his viewers. He also at least comments back. He loves their comments and so on. He is definitely one of the, and again, he's got more subscribers than I do, and at least gets probably more viewers than I do, I will say. But he at least is not like these god-awful big-time YouTubers who only leech off of YouTube's revenue. No, he, in many ways, he doesn't even live off of revenue to begin with, at least on YouTube. He does it, like I do, as a hobby, but he also comments back. He also does that. He's a very respectable guy, and that's a person I definitely will recommend. If you like video games and you like metal, and that isn't somebody like Metal Jesus Rocks. Ooh, gems. Ooh, hidden gems. If you're not like, if you don't like Metal Jesus Rocks, but you still want to try and look for channels that at least, specialize in video games and metal music, and hard rock music, Heavy Metal Gamer Show is probably the channel for you. So I definitely recommend the Heavy Metal Gamer Channel show. So there you go. As far as other ones, I also, when it comes to the world of wrestling, the two channels I am subscribed to is Wrestling with Regret. Again, I like some of it. Not every bit of his, at least his opinions, I agree with. But again, I like it. It's very cool and nice. I like when he also does the pay-per-view, classic pay-per-view reviews. And I also like it when he also does basically videos on certain stuff, like certain wrestlers and certain times in particular companies, whether it be the WCW or the WWF/WWE. You know, their times in there, and why was their time in that company not as good as their time in the company they were both remembered for? I do like that as well, especially when also discussing the Ultimate Warrior. I thought that his return in 1996 in the WWF, I thought that was a very cool stuff. So again, he's got some good variety. So if you like wrestling, he's a pretty cool channel. I think, again, he's a pretty great guy as well. I also ended up finding out that he actually lives out in Reno. I've never once, every time I've visited there, I've never ran into him. So it's kind of funny. I definitely had to kind of give that out. So I think it's kind of crazy. Still, though, he's definitely, I think, one of the better wrestling channels on YouTube, in my opinion. One of the better one. He may be the biggest one, but I like him. He also gets a lot of even some familiar faces on his channel as well, especially some big time ones. One time you've had names such as Booker T as well in there. Definitely very cool. And of course, speaking of some other guys, he's also once had on, which there seems to be a little bit of a I would say, denouncing between the two. There's definitely some issues between the two, but he once had the right now still one of the most I wouldn't say well-renowned, but he is definitely a very interesting figure in, of course, the world of wrestling. He's also at times seen also as an interesting anomaly. That's, of course, is none other than the former Midnight Express manager Jim Cornette. He once had him on his channel very, very many years ago, but it seems like these days, of course, I'm subscribed to, of course, the official Jim Cornette channel on there. The reasons for it is, again, of course, because of his personality outside of just being on TV in the past. The thing is, he's also, at times, I still think is a pretty honest guy. Even though his opinions can be seen as very harsh and sometimes can cause a lot of different opinions and views on, whether it be on his views on politics or his views on the modern wrestling world. I still somewhat listen to it because I think it's very interesting to me and it's fascinating at times. even when he tends to also either bash AEW. It's still fascinating to me as well. It's fascinating, but the reason also I love listening to some of his personal stories of being in the wrestling business. I also like some of the stories of all the old wrestlers he has been with, and even some of the newer ones he once at least was around, especially when he was booking for OVW, which was for a little while there was kind of WWE's developmental program almost, even though it kind of started out not, but when, of course, due to, of course, Jim Cornette being involved with OVW, and it kind of ended up being used as somewhat a developmental program, or at least get guys to go there to at least develop before letting them go on to at least the big leagues, basically. They're kind of, again, to someone edge them out a little bit. That's all. It's very cool. It's interesting. It's fascinating. So again, I like a lot of the story. That's one of the main reasons. Though his reviews for a lot of modern wrestling shows, it can be at times funny, fascinating, and sometimes can be very different. It can be, let's just say, very. What's the best word I could probably can use? Unusual, almost. I wouldn't say. I don't know. That's probably not a good fucking word to even use to begin with. Interesting. I guess maybe that's the best word I could come up with. It's very interesting. Though again, you may not like the opinions, or you may like their opinions. So depending on what your tastes are, that's the best thing to come with. So again, if you also like old school wrestling, and you also want to hear from, of course, one of the guys who at least was in the business and spent years living in the business, I would say definitely look at Jim Cornette's channel on YouTube. He's, again, the stories on some of that is definitely the highest points of his channel. He's definitely a unique figure in the world of wrestling. So there you go. That is the best recommend I can come up with. I mean, I'm subscribed to almost quite a bit of YouTubers to begin with. I mean, I'm subscribed to my brother's channel, both his spare channels, which of course being Gas Mask Avenger or Insane Jericho. I forgot the name. It was like Insane Jericho. Which is where he uploads at this point movie related figure at this point who's very looked interesting, and let's just say just an interesting figure in the world of online movie dealership, let's just say. And I'm not going to name any names on who it is, but I'm just going to keep it there. If you're interested in that, and you are very curious, and you got a little curious mind, go definitely check out the Insane Jericho channel, and definitely just get wrapped up in in my opinion, most unique entertainment you're gonna ever get. It's the unique forms of entertainment you'll ever get to see. There you go. But there you go. That's the answer to that. I've gone in at least a couple of those recommendations. I'm not going to recommend every single channel I am subscribed to, but I've just given you some good ideas of channels I am subscribed to as well. Some may not always be of interest, but again, this is my channel, and what interests me, I feel like I will name drop them. So that's what you're going to get. So there you go. That is to at least answer your questions, Stormrider. So thank you for sending in those questions. Definitely, again, if you want to send any questions to me for me to answer on these podcast episodes, again, my Gmail account name is, of course, in the description box. Again, it's NastyMetalProductions@gmail.com. You can send, again, your questions through there for me to answer, of course, on podcast episodes. So with that, let's definitely move on finally to, of course, the main topic of this video, of this podcast. That's, of course, is my fond memories of Halloween. And again, the best way is just fond memories. And we gotta take a little sip of my drink here, which I'm not gonna name. Not because of, I don't know, is it really that interested me begin with them? What the hell I'm even drinking anyways? Some will do that, but me, I just don't really care. And since right now it's all audio, they ain't gonna see, it doesn't even matter. Here we go. Let's get a little sip of this. Oh, that's good shit. Okay, now, on to, of course, my fond memories. My memories of me participating in Halloween. I have some decent memories. I think the reason why I really wanted to do this anyway was because of, it involves, of course, there were 3 Halloweens where I dressed up as a musical figure, or at least of, musicians. I've dressed up as, there was one Halloween, I dressed, this was at least from my time of trick-or-treating as a kid, when I was in school still. This was at least 2 decades ago. I can't give you a good, solid year, or solid year of when I dressed up. It could have been 2003, it could have been 2004, for all I know. But there was definitely a Halloween where I dressed up as Paul Stanley of Kiss. I wish I had the photo of this. I don't know where the photo, I know my mother at least took a picture of me dressed up as Paul Stanley, and the variation of Paul Stanley that I dressed up as was actually based off the look he had on the Dress to Kill record. So basically, I had the suit on, but I had the makeup on as well, and the wig, and I had that all on. And that's who I once dressed up as for that Halloween. I wish I still had a photo of that. It would have been great to add for this, to get at least see a young me dressed up as Dress to Kill era Paul Stanley, at least from the album cover. It was a very, very cool moment for me, and I had some very good time with that. Again, I also got recognized, at least, Benny. Of course, it was it was a very great moment then. I think it was the following year. I can't remember if it was the year before or the year after that I dressed up as Paul Stanley, where I also ended up dressing up as Alice Cooper for 1 year as well. I think it might have been the year before I dressed up as the Dress to Kill era Paul Stanley, or it could have been the year after I dressed up as the Dress to Kill album era of Paul Stanley. But I know I dressed up as Alice Cooper, and this one was somewhat of a mix mash. I basically took, it's like I wasn't completely true to, of course, how he looked, at least on the Welcome to My Nightmare cover, but at least it was inspired by that album cover. I had the suit on, at least the blazer, the coat on, and the hat and the wig. Actually, it was pretty much the same fucking wig I had when I wore when I was Paul Stanley. It was the same fucking wig. I used both the same wigs to be both. Again, the only thing I knew is they had long hair, and it was the perfect long or black hair wig. I think I know it may have not been perfect, but I used that. Yes, basically, very DIY for at least its time period. Still, though, the thing is, again, it was inspired by the Welcome to My Nightmare cover, but the difference is the eye makeup was a little different. It was more so inspired by the eye makeup he wore for the Killers album, that time where he used that. It wasn't the straight, almost line, the circle with, of course, almost the sharp line across the top of the eye. Instead, it was more so, if you are familiar with how he had looked on the Killers album, at least his eye makeup, it was a little different, and at least that he wore for the Killers album in 1971. It was different. but it definitely was at least that kind of eye makeup, but with the Welcome to My Nightmare style look. So it was kind of a Frankenstein, basically. I Frankenstein both the two eras of Alice Cooper into one costume, and that's who I dressed up as for that one time of Halloween. And it was I had very fun as well. It was very fun, though I don't know how many people actually knew who the hell I even was to begin with, which is sadly enough. I mean, Paul, between the two, I guess at that point, Kiss were doing a whole bunch of tours in Fresno. They were touring with fucking, who was it? Aerosmith. They were doing a ton of tours with Aerosmith during that time. There wasn't a year where there wasn't a goddamn ad on the Fresno TV where they are announcing, coming to, of course, the Save Mart Center is Aerosmith and Kiss. It seemed like that was every year they were touring with fucking Aerosmith. I will not lie. I will not fucking overestimate it. It's like, to me, it was almost every fucking year they were touring with Aerosmith. So at that point, they were still at least a pretty big name, and everyone at least recognized them. So that's why I think everybody knew who the hell I was for at least the Halloween when I was Paul Stanley to at least the time I dressed up as Alice Cooper. Who knows, maybe if I had the right makeup on, I probably would have, but that was my idea, and that's what my parents had to at least go with. It was my mom that was putting on the makeup for me, so that was the idea, and obviously, even though I had fun doing it, it definitely seemed to have been I don't know. It might not have been one that got knocked out of the park. Though the Paul Stanley one I am very fondly of, but because of, I think it was a great work of what she did with it, and for one, I really enjoyed doing that. So dressing up as Paul Stanley. Nowadays, I don't know if I will enjoy dressing up as Paul Stanley, given how now I know how he is outside of the world of Kiss. Same thing, I will never, ever, ever will dress up as Gene Simmons. I may like at least the stuff he wrote for Kiss. I may like some of that, but as far as his personality, he can go suck my dick for all I care. So yeah, fuck you, Gene Simmons. And for also there, fuck you, Paul Stanley, too. Fuck both of you. Alright, let's definitely go on. Now, God, that is such good shit. Now, let's get on to, of course, the third one. This, of course, was 2 years ago. Now, this is, of course, past the decade where I felt like trick-or-treating. By the time I hit the particular age of 14 and 15, I didn't really care about trick-or-treating anymore. I felt I was too old for it. So, but at that point, I also didn't really think about ever dressing up ever again. And that somewhat changed in 2013 when I then could realize how dumb that is. And instead, there is a way for me to participate. That, of course, is at least dressing up, but standing by the house and greet the trick-or-treaters. That also means even somewhat in many ways kind of terrorizing them. Which I kind of had some very one. I did spook some of them out, but that began in 2013. I'll get back to who I was for 2013 because that contains some of my favorite fond memories of course, participating in Halloween. Oh my God, I love 2013. I loved participating on that. That I got so much attention, but I will eventually get back here real soon. But that was the beginning, and that's where it led to, of course, to 2018, where this is the one I do have pictures of. I do have at least a photo of this, of who I was on on the 2018 Halloween, or at least the Halloween of 2018. Of course, if you see in the back of my videos, or at least for most of these, beginning with the Metaltober 2020 videos, if you see in the back of my video, and I've showed this mask on the channel anyways, I have, of course, a mask of the Peace of Mind era Eddie of Iron Maiden. I've got the Peace of Mind era mask, and that for the 2018 Halloween, that's who I was, and I had my mom actually make the best that she could to make the straight jacket to at least wear. And as you can see, the photo is right here, right now. And again, it's it may not be the best interpretation, but it's what I tried to go with. This was the best I could come up with. Again, it's the mask, but the difference is that it's like I got the straight jacket. It may not be the brownish kind of, or very almost tannish tint that at least you saw in, of course, the album cover. But of course, I'm also not wearing blue pants. I'm wearing black pants. And the shoes, well, of course, Eddie didn't really wear shoes in the album cover, but I'm walking outside. I'm on grass. I'm not going to be going barefoot. I'm not going to try and have any ants or other fucking bugs that might be pointy and beetles or something sticking their shit up my goddamn feet to begin with. And I'm also not going to try and step on a bunch of terrible fucking mushrooms that I feel I've got a bad, just a bad vibe of getting, a bad imagination of probably getting maybe infected by a mushroom. I'm not gonna fucking go barefoot, so I wore fucking, shoes, and of course it's cold, so I know some of you, well, you probably could have wore flip-flops. It's fucking cold out there. I ain't gonna freeze my goddamn feet. So that's why I went with shoes, but I wish I wore blue jeans, but I was wearing black jeans. Who knows? I probably forgot to bring a good pair of blue jeans with me down to Fresno, since again, that's where I really do most of my Halloween participation. Susanville up here, there's no fucking good participation to begin with. It's such a boring fucking town. And yes, I know some people are, you're not supposed to go, you're not supposed to really go and badmouth the town you live in. You know what? I'm going, motherfucker. I'm going to at least badmouth the town I live in. The people up here are so goddamn boring to begin with, and as far as the activities, there's barely any good activities. The place I live in is so goddamn mundane, and there's a bunch of assholes around here. So, really, the best bet is, of course, to go to at least Fresno, where most of my relatives live to begin with. And then again, where my brother is. I'd rather participate Halloween with them than participate and try and see if I could get something out of this boring haystack of a town that is so goddamn mundane that you ain't gonna get nothing out of them, even if you fucking tried and thinking, well, maybe there might someone that come into the house, maybe there might be. No, there really isn't, goddammit, there really isn't. You basically are walking barefoot over glass, trying to expect somebody or a bunch of trick-or-treaters to go up to your goddamn apartment house or your mobile home house and expect to hand out candy to them. You ain't gonna have that. That ain't gonna happen. It only happened one time, but we didn't even have fucking candy to begin with. That was like almost over 10 years ago at this point. It was absolutely ridiculous. So fuck Susanville and fuck trying to participate in Halloween in fucking Susanville. This bullshit haystack boring of a goddamn town. So it's better to do it in Fresno, and again, I have more, again, it's more funner. You get more, again, in the neighborhood that my Nana at least lives in. It's it's at least a decent neighborhood where you will at least get a lot of trick-or-treaters. And so participating there is at least you get something out of it. And again, it's very fun, and it's also great to even interact with. There's at least, I've never really once ran into an absolute asshole on Halloween, and at least down there. So yes, and again, it's great. Great participation. Again, even though it's not the closest look to you see to at least on the album cover, a piece of mine, but it's the closest I could. Of course, my brother, who is, of course, standing right next to me, who's, of course, wearing that it's a butcher kind of costume with Welding's mask. I might have butchered the fuck out of that. I will probably butcher the fuck. But the thing is, it's more so inspired by I think it was called Don't Go Into the House, I think, which is an obscure slasher film or obscure horror film from 1981, which is a very good film, though, actually. Very underrated film. And again, the guy in that film dresses up in that and pretty much when he tortures his victims in that house. It's even though it's actually a pretty good film, it's very much on the similar plot to, of course, in some ways, Maniac, which I think came out, it was a year before Don't Go Into the House. Which, again, very similar plot when it comes to our character, but the way they conduct their plot, their murders, is different compared to how they to one another. It's just a little different. But that was the kind of character he was basing his costume off of. Though it may not be the closest interpretation of it, but it at least the most accurate, but at least it was close to it. It was a great freaking costume as well. But still, that's who we at least dressed up. And again, no, I didn't get a lot of the best interactions on that Halloween. It was still, since it's on the topic of me dressing up as, character, or at least, again, musicians, or at least characters off of metal album covers, that was one I did. No, again, back to 2013, my fondest memories of really interacting with a lot of the trick-or-treaters before I really get any closer. I gotta at least take a sip out of my good fucking drink. Good shit. Okay. My favorite, again, it was on 2013, my favorite fond memories of just interacting with the trick-or-treaters. On this, again, this was the beginning, like I stated, this was the beginning of me doing this kind of activity on Halloween than me trying to act like I'm still a kid and go trick-or-treating. No, this one, it still made me feel like a kid again, but it was on at least a more reasonable age level instead of, oh yeah, I'm gonna go fucking trick-or-treating and be, and still act like I'm still 13 or 5 years old. No. I didn't do any trick-or-treating when I was 13 years old. That is an absolute lie. That's fake news. Okay. Still, my interaction. On this Halloween, I didn't dress up as any character, or at least musical character or band member, but I did dress up my best interpretation of the Grim Reaper. I had this mask. It's actually the same mask that fucking the guy that was at Midnight. The guy from Midnight wears. If you're familiar with the speed metal band that's on Metal Blade Records or Hell's Headbangers, Midnight, you probably again are familiar. That mask that he wore, I've had that mask for over years at this point. The thing is, when I was a little kid, again, mine in 2002, what was it? Was it Walgreens or it was Big Lots? I can't remember what store. I think it was Big Lots. Again, on their Halloween section, they would have these masks. It was the same time, there was at least two colors. One was black, which is the color that you see the guy from Midnight wear, and the second color was purple, with the black, so very, very dark inside. Again, you're not supposed to see the person's face, but the thing is, you can see clear outside of it. Again, even though it's a hoodie, but and again in the middle, it's got that real dark, almost very black masking kind of fabric, which it's supposed to black out your face, and which makes it more mysterious, especially at midnight. No pun intended. So still though, I've had that, at least both those two masks, and thing is, for the 2013 Halloween, since I had at least the clothing to be at least the Grim Reaper, though I didn't have a sai with me. I didn't have this sai. I just did it again without wearing that. And the thing is, what I did was I had this costume on, and the thing is, at the end of the driveway, I would just stand there like a statue, not moving. And every time at least one of these trick-or-treaters would fucking try and, that they would walk up, I would make movement. And they, of course, the faces are just go so goddamn priceless. But then I had to at least be back to being human again. Again, some of them were very weary of me as well. So I was like, is that guy gonna move? Is he gonna move? He better not move, that kind of stuff. It was actually really fun. It was so goddamn entertaining. I had a blast doing that. I had such a goddamn blast doing that. Oh my god. Yes, it was so fun. I even also, one of my favorite reactions has to be from this one girl. She knows that I'm about to do something and to say, listen, I know karate. I can go in there and beat you up. And it was so funny. I loved it. And it's like, it was great. It was fun. I got that kind of interaction. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So again, it was great. Also from here, this was the first time I almost felt like a, you know how the people that dress up as characters at least the park at the theme parks, especially Universal Studios, you got at least the workers, they'll dress up as a character, at least either let's be a movie character or a comic book character. Especially there was a time period where I think even to this day they still at least would have at least someone dress up as either Spider-Man, one time Doctor Doom. And again, because of that, it's to at least get a reaction out of at least the people that are at least visiting the park with their cameras to go up to them and take a picture with them. Well, I felt like that because of on that year when I was dressing up as that and doing all the my movements to try and to try and scare some of them. I actually got someone to come up to me and take pictures. I felt like a goddamn superstar also on this Halloween. I felt like a superstar, and apparently the name, the word of this of the house was of me was making its way around the town. Funny enough, again they were spreading the word. There's this guy over here. He's dressed up as like this Green Reaper kind of guy. He's going around. He's just standing there, very calm. Just very still, not making any movement, and the thing is, it looks so good. You can't kind of tell if there's even a human behind it. It looks so good. And finally, when you walk up, he'll then of course make his movement and scare you. He does that. You gotta check it out. That's kind of the thing that was going on, and it made me feel like a goddamn star that night. And again, I had people that would talk to me and do stuff. I got a lot of reactions and interactions as a people. It was absolutely amazing. And the thing is, each year I tried to recreate that. And some of them I got close to. There were still people that would come up to me and, get photos with me and so on. But the thing is, it never quite got to that. And by that year of me dressing up as Eddie of the Peace of Mind era Eddie on that album cover, I know I'm butchering some of that. None of it never was ever recreated. So I can't really recreate that kind of moment ever again. Again, first time's a charm, basically. I loved it, though. I loved all of that. Even the one when there was a time period, what was it? 2014, 2015, I had my ways of dressing up as other different kind of thing. It was 2014, which that Halloween turned into an absolute shit show. That turned into an absolute fucking shit show by the time because it was the first Halloween I think in Fresno where it rained, and I had this good look up. It was kind of, again, I based some of my idea, I think, off of the guy, the character Exhumer's character. But the thing is, it wasn't as good of a as good of a accurate description of it. But again, I had like a hockey mask on. Though it wasn't the right kind of hockey mask. My nana had a great hockey mask. My brother would wear the first time. And the thing is, why I also liked this was it also got used to kind of create a Jason Voorhees style scarecrow, and it was like one of my earliest memories of Halloween as a very, very little. And she would have this I guess decent recreation of Jason Voorhees with this hockey mask on, and again leaving out on the for sure the porch or in front of the house with a chair. And again, we would just walk up and we have that. And I always loved that hockey mask, but it got lost many years ago. It got lost, and I wanted to use that hockey mask, but it was gone. Trying to find it was like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It was very difficult, and it was never ending. There was going to be no light at the end of the tunnel to find that damn hockey mask. So I had to go out and buy a new one. which was not the right kind of hockey mask we wanted. It's very flimsy, but it was it was something to kind of at least wear for at least this costume anyways. It was a fucking costume. It wasn't like I was trying to play a part for some movie or some, I don't know, some skit on YouTube that I would either be as very accurate or some, again, I wasn't trying to do that, or a music video. It wasn't. It was for dressing up as Halloween. That's all it was. It was for. So I did that. I had, again, this great piece of where it then looked like smashed brains. I was basically look like I had the good leather jacket on. I was trying to look like some metalhead who got his brains bashed in a bad mosh pit. And again, it got me some reactions. It was, again, people would come up and take pictures with me. But still, though, it got ruined. This would have been the second best. This could have been the second best one since my participation of my favorite activity, beginning of my favorite activity in 2013, feel like you're a damn star. It would have been the best, the closest to recreating that would have been on the 2014, if not for the rain. If it wasn't windy and rainy, I probably would have had more. It would have been closest to how I really felt on 2013. It would have been, but it didn't. It didn't come to, and again, had to go inside, and there were still trick-or-treaters coming up, still soldiering on, like the soldiers they are on Halloween. They tried to still, again, to continue it. They weren't going to let the rain ruin their moment, ruin their time of spending on Halloween. They weren't going to, so I give them a lot of respect for doing that, even though it might have been stupid, still, though. But still, it was fun. If it wasn't for the goddamn rain and the wind. So, fuck you, rain and wind. God damn it. Fuck you, weather. So, it was it would have been a great Halloween if not for that. But the following year, it was good. I had a very cool look on. But still, though, it was fun. It's still not close to how I really felt in 2013 on that Halloween. But it was still fine. 2016, though, on the other hand, I couldn't make it because of other personal stuff. But still, the following year, I can't remember who the fuck I dressed up as the following year for at least 2017. I can't remember which one who I dressed up as for 2017. I really can't remember for the life of me. Who knows? My brother's probably going to come in this podcast and comment section and probably tell me, you were this on this Halloween. Damn it, you were this. But the 2018 one, of course, I was the Peace of Mind Eddie. And then, of course, the following year, which was last year, I was Darkman from the film Darkman. If you've never seen that film, it's of course the first one had Liam Neeson, the second and third one had of course Arnold Vosloo, who of course would be playing Imhotep in the Brendan Fraser Mummy films. But I was Darkman for that year, and it was a fun year, though I was under the weather. I was a little bit under the weather, but again, I soldiered. I wanted to at least still participate. I didn't want to at least miss out, even though I was I felt like absolute dog shit. And I never really told anybody, and it was probably bad, since at that point, everyone was getting mad again about the, or at least it ended up coming out about the whole coronavirus. Who knows? I almost felt like I might have contributed it, which definitely makes me look like an absolute piece of shit. So I'll definitely be honest with you on that. But still, I didn't want to at least miss out. So even though I definitely come out, I felt like absolute shit. But I still tried to enjoy myself. I still did. And there was also a moment where apparently a family almost thought they lost their kid, and that turned into an absolute whoo. That got a little bit intense there, because when you're starting to see the police copter, with of course shining the spotlight onto of course the searchlight onto the what was it, the park, and then you as well, yeah, and then seeing the cop cars. Yeah, that definitely started to That sure was almost for there was going to sour the mood. Oh yeah, even though I was starting to feel like shit, that right there is like, oh boy. But of course, and then it came out that she was, the kid was still in the house. So that definitely made probably the cops feel absolutely great. I know I'm probably I'm not supposed to at least feel sympathetic for cops. I know I'm not supposed to. Apparently that will make me look like a bootlicker. I'm not going to go into that, though. Let's let me not try and get political here. Let's try not to. Let's keep this at least under at least good ground level here, okay? Let's keep it at least good standard ground level. All right, so there you go. I think that's all I can at least could talk about my fond memories of participating in Halloween. Again, there's some absolute great moments. I think 2013 was my absolute favorite moment in Halloween in general. I loved that. I loved that year. I loved that time. I loved it. Though I know for some people say, well, that wasn't a great year. I'm mostly talking about on that Halloween in general. I loved it. I had a blast doing that. So there you go. This was, of course, the special edition of the Nasty Metal Podcast, which again is also named 9.1. This, of course, was a special Halloween edition, which again be just reminiscing on fond memories, of course, of Halloween. And it was a great memory in general. I loved it. So I hope y'all at least enjoyed me rambling on about some of my fond memories here. Definitely, it was a great time. What were your fond memories anyways of Halloween? Do you have any great memories? Do you have any bad memories, maybe? I don't know. Do you even want to share any bad memories? Are they even entertaining? I'm definitely curious about that. If you got any of those kind of memories, leave them in the comment section below. But still, if you have any at least thoughts on a lot of my memories I've shared there, definitely, again, let me know in the comment section below. So that's all great there. Also, as far as this of course would be the last week for at least this channel's Metaltober. Again, Metaltober 2020, I call it Metaltober 2020. In general, and normally I always would have, at least when I would do my title of my videos, I would have at least Metaltober, at least 2018, 2019, 20 this, 20 that. You know. Again, I would do that, but here, I think it makes sense, call it Metaltober 2020, because in many ways, yeah, 2020, what a year this has been, and I'll definitely will look back on this year in December when I do at least the final podcast episode for the year 2020, but still, this, of course, will be the final week. It's the final week of October. And when it comes to November, it's back to the normal scheduling. And of course, so when it comes to looking forward to at least album reviews or stuff for next month, you know you're going to expect to see me review the new AC/DC. You know you're probably going to expect me to at least review the new Sodom as well. You're going to expect me to at least have me review a lot of that. Even the Eternal Champion album. You're going to see me review that too. So there's stuff you're going to at least see in the following month of November. And then it's on, of course, to December. Well, that's where I will stand up racking up all of my favorite releases, or at least my top 10 lists or the lists in general. The end of the year lists for 2020. So at that, I hope y'all enjoyed this month of October. I hope all of you enjoy at least this odd Halloween. I hope all of you at least enjoyed all of this. I hope you enjoyed Metaltober. So with that, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode of the podcast. I hope y'all enjoyed all of this. This, of course, is Heavy Thrash Shed saying I'm out. And I'll see y'all later. Take care, everyone. And have at least a good pandemic-led Halloween. Take care.